All right, everybody, here we go with Opendoor Technology. Subscribe, comment if you have any questions, and don't forget to like, because every time you like this video, more awareness comes out for Opendoor Technology, and it helps me out, helps my channel out as well. So for Opendoor Technology, it wasn't too much going on today. We did have a big drop in the beginning of the day, and after that, just pretty much consolidating. Funny thing about it, we held that $9 pretty good. The support here is $8.75 to $9. That range, $8.75 to $9. That's the range we're looking at. Resistance is around $9.25, I think, $9.15. But I'm going to the chart in a second. But Opendoor, not too much news going on because tomorrow is the big day, interest rate cut, right? 0.25 possibly. But yeah, let's look at the chart. All right, here we go on a weekly for Opendoor Technology. And we have a lot of the lines right here. I'm probably going to get rid of some of these lines soon, but maybe I'll do it after the interest rate cut. I want to see what's going to happen tomorrow when Jerome Powell talks and we see the most likely the 0.25 interest rate cut. And I'll probably get rid of some of these lines. They have a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 lines. I'll probably cut it down to like 3. 3 lines is all we need. So here's a weekly for Opendoor Technology, and it's still not bad, pretty much the first time we had a pump, we had 3 weeks of red. The second time we had a pump right here, we had 1 week of red selling. And here we are, the third pump, and we're on 1 week of selling at the moment. So everything's normal, really. Some people may be saying it's all over now. There's no evidence here in the chart that it's all over. If anything, we're consolidating. And even if we go lower, I said this before, even if we go lower, we're still in a huge uptrend, because on this third pump we started from about $4.13 and we went from $10.70. So as I said before, I said even if we dropped, I don't want to, but even if we dropped to around $7, we would still be in an uptrend. We'd actually still be in an uptrend, a bullish uptrend, even if we dropped to $7. Now I don't want to, of course not. The lowest I would want to drop, if we had to drop, was $8.25. That's the lowest I would want to drop. $8.25 to $8.75 is the range. I don't want to drop no lower than $8.25. But if we can hold this $9, as you can see on the times and sales, they're buying and spamming $9, $9, $8.99 over and over again on the times and sales after hours. So let's look at the daily chart. Daily chart, 3 days red, but it's not really moving that much. Look, 3 days red, but it hasn't really created a downtrend on the red. We're still in the same spot. So if this stock goes up, I think it could probably move up a lot next time it goes up. That's what I'm predicting. I'm thinking the next time Opendoor goes up, probably going to be a bigger move than the last time, because right here we have 3 red days consolidating, and people are starting to short Opendoor more than usual. So it may be a stronger squeeze next time, maybe to $15, but we have to see what's going to happen. But I do like these 3 red candles because we haven't really went down, just consolidating. But as I said, just recently, $8.25 to $8.75 would still be a bullish support area to consolidate. $8.25 to $8.75. What line is this? This is $8.50. I'm going to delete $8.50 because we don't need it. $7.52. I'll delete $7.52 as well. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines there. I'll delete the $11 for now. The $11 resistance for now. And now we have 4 candles. So that's not bad. Let's look at the hourly. See how it looks. So the hourly, we're right at the support line of $9. And that's where we pretty much hovered all day, a $9 area. So the resistance tomorrow is going to be $9.25. Once we can break $9.25, the next resistance is going to be around $9.50. So we're creating some resistance because we're just hovering around the same price area. So that's why the resistance is so tight now. $9.25. Then we have another one at $9.50. Then another one at $9.75 to $9.90. Once we break the $10.25, that's when we can start skyrocketing again. That's where shorts are going to get scared when we break the 1025. So at the moment, we're just consolidating around the $9 and 950 area at the moment. 1025 break, that's when you're going to see a lot of excitement and a lot of volume going on. So tomorrow is going to be the big day, interest rate cut. But what everybody's going to be watching is not the interest rate cut, because most of that interest rate cut is going to be priced in. People want to see what Jerome Powell is going to say. Is he going to talk about we need more rate cuts, or what? What's going to happen? If you have any ideas, put it in the comments. I'll reply back to every comment. Everybody who writes a comment in the YouTube channel, most of the time I reply back. And if it's a question, I'll reply back as well. But if you want to join a Discord, join a Discord. I'm always on there 24/7. So let's compare, once again, Opendoor to housing stocks real quick. So right now, Opendoor is up 0.78% after hours. And as you can see, the three housing stocks right here are also up after hours. Small percentage, just like Opendoor. So we're following housing trend as well, which is fine with me. We don't want to break stride with the housing stocks. As long as we're trading with the housing stocks, I'm not worried. I'm not sweating at all. ITB, let's see what happened with ITB. Housing ETF, it went down and then it came up. That's very nice. Opendoor didn't do that. Consolidated, it didn't go up. Lennar went down, went up. DR Horton went down and went up. Funny thing about DR Horton, it went down and then it broke the pre-market price. So that's pretty bullish for DR Horton. Lennar almost did the same thing. I think Opendoor probably would have done the same thing as well if we weren't up so much. We're up a lot. So it's just pretty hard to just keep moving up like that, Just weekly, how many times have you seen a chart like this? You don't see a chart like this every day. This chart went up and it's holding. Went up here, held, went up again, held, went up again. And right now, we're in the third phase of holding. So if we can hold 825 to 950, that's the third hold. And then we'll be on that fourth going up, right? The fourth going up. 1, 2, 3, hold, then 4, go up again. So this is normal. This is normal. Nothing to be afraid of, But if you want to sell, take some profit. If you're up a lot, if you want to sell half of your shares or a quarter of your shares, that's up to you. But the last video I made, I said possibly if we do go up, it will be maybe sometime next week. And based on today's chart, it's looking like sometimes next week. But anything could change tomorrow because the rate cut. Anything can change. We did have some data come out today for the housing market. I think it was around 10 a.m. But it was pretty much unchanged. So it didn't really pump up the housing stocks that much because the data pretty much stayed the same. So that didn't help at all at 10 a.m. But the whole market in general was pretty shaky today, Like look at these stocks on the left side. They all finished red. So we're not the only one. Once again, we're not the only one. The only time to be afraid, as I said in previous videos, if we start to create a downtrend and you see some housing stocks going up, but Opendoor is going down. Like I said in the last video, then you want to question like what's really going on. Do some research, some DD, whatever you want to do. Like always, I like to check out the websites just to see what some of these news articles are talking about. And funny thing about it, yesterday when I searched Opendoor news, I saw a lot of negative articles. And today when I searched, I see a lot of positive articles. So it's kind of funny how it just switched up from one day. This website on TradingView says this strategic pivot is further validated by Opendoor is committing to AI. And also the Insider Capital, a fresh $40 million equity investment from Rob Boy's venture firm, Closa Ventures, and co-founder Eric Wu provides a powerful endorsement from those with the most intimate knowledge of the company's potential. So those are two key points that TradingView is talking about that's good for Opendoor. So why would they invest in something that they think is going to fail? All right, $40 million is a lot of money. They invest $40 million for no reason? I don't think so. And here's some quick news. Eric Wu purchased $3 million worth of company shares according to an exchange filing on Monday. Let's see. Wu bought 451,000 shares at $6.65 on September 9th, and now directly owns 1.6 million shares of Opendoor Technology. Here's another thing. Eric Jackson renewed his bid on Monday, drawing comparisons between Opendoor and Tesla, as well as Palantir. Since early July, Opendoor's market cap has increased from $500 million to $7 billion. From July till now, $500 million to $7 billion. But here's another thing. The retail sentiment on this social media website has shifted lower to bullish from extremely bullish, even as message volume rose over 500%. When retail sentiment for a stock is extremely bullish, sometimes you may want to take profit or take a percentage profit or wait on buying, because a lot of times the market makers and the huge investors with big money, when they see a stock extremely bullish, a lot of times they're going to stop buying for a while, or it may sell some shares because it's extremely bullish. When a stock is extremely bullish, it has a lot of liquidity, so they're going to sell some shares. And also, when a stock is extremely bullish, the shorts come out. They say, oh, everybody's buying this stock, is up a lot, it's extremely bullish, let's short it. And then the price starts to come down some. So now the stock is at bullish. So the sentiment went down a little bit, which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing. People are not paying attention to Opendoor as much. And you would think, oh, that's not good. But at the same time, it's not bad. A lot of times when people start to forget about a stock, that's when the big investors start loading back up again. So that's about it. The interest rate cut is tomorrow, so get ready for that. A lot of volatility in the market is going to be crazy. A lot of volatility. Volume. Whole market. And I'll just finish with the monthly chart. The monthly chart, Opendoor went to 1070, and we have huge resistance at 1150. All right, 1150, huge resistance. But our short-term resistance is going to be 975 and 1025. And just to wrap it up one more time, our support between 825 and 875 is still going to be bullish for me. Even 825, because it's still in the consolidation area. So you don't want to drop below $9. I love to stay over $9, but anything can happen. $8.75 to $9 is a nice support. I like to hold that. That's why I want to hold. All right, everyone. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, comment, and be ready for tomorrow. Interest rate day. Take care.